Albert, I got to tell you, what I love about your squad right now is there's a great mixture of youth and veterans. And to me, the key to all this is the guy that is no stranger, a former player himself, and a guy that knows your position is your head coach, Colin Miller. I've talked to Colin a number of times, and I think right now, finally, the team is responding to him, repaying him back with all the hard work that he is given to some of you guys and believing in you guys, and everything right now is working as best as it could be.
Of course, Anthony. If you think back to when the boss first came into the club, the team ended up in last place or near last place anyway, and he's come into the club, and last year wasn't our best season, obviously, but we there was signs there. There were signs that we were going to, if we had another few players, we were going to do well. So we've bought into his philosophy and the way he defends and the way he goes through defensive phases of play every session, and that's what his team's built on. And he brought me in, and he brought obviously Darrell Fordyce, and he's obviously I've been his mainstay, and he's had faith in me. And now, if you see his whole team, it's the players that he's brought in. And it's obviously it's going to take a year, and it has took a year for people to kind of like get his philosophy and to do the way or to carry out his coaching through training and stuff. And I think that's helped as well. It's obviously going to take any manager a year to change things, especially when it's not his team in the first place.
You know, Albert, it's got to be great to go up against Minnesota, San Antonio, the Cosmos in Carolina. You and I both know they've got big payrolls, they've got a big budget, and here's FC Edmonton that is just right now playing its hearts out with some youngsters and some veterans that people didn't believe in, really going toe-to-toe. How great is that, going into San Antonio, Minnesota, and New York and playing with the best in the NASL toe-to-toe?
I totally agree with that. That's absolutely brilliant. You just seen the Canadian call up there for Hanson Bokai, and it's brilliant for FC Edmonton. It's brilliant for the profile of FC Edmonton. It's brilliant for all the younger players coming through to see a guy like that, a young player at 17 years of age, to know what's possible, and that's brilliant. And you can see the mixture in the team is brilliant. You've got players. Milan Roberts, 21. You've got you've got young players coming through there, and Hanson Bokai, Adam Wally. You've Sadi Ziali. You've got all the younger players coming through with the older guys like myself and Darrell Fordyce and Richie Jones, and has been there and kind of played a lot of games and done it. Is helping them through and helping them be better. And it's brilliant coming against these big teams. So Cosmos, and they can sign players in a win. They can sign 5 players and just like that, and think nothing of it. I know there are talks to sign Real, which is unbelievable, and if the likes of San Antonio, they brought in a lot of players that were top players in other teams in the league, and also the likes of Minnesota. They've a massive payroll and stuff, and that's what it's all about. We feel that if we get into them playoffs, we have a big chance, and because it's just the way we're set up and the way we're playing at the moment. It's exciting.
You know, Albert, sorry to interrupt, but it's got to be a challenge for you and your club and your mates, mentally and physically, knowing that 3/4 of the team is based on that East Coast. You only have San Antonio down, that straight line if you look at the map down south of the USA, but every other team basically is on that East Coast. And, let's also talk about India as well. So 3/4 of it are on that side. It's got to take a toll on your body physically, but also mentally. How have you guys coped with that throughout the season?
Well, it definitely does take a toll, because if you travel like to Fort Lauderdale or the likes of you travel to Cary there in Carolina, and you travel to all these places, and they're obviously going to be warmer than what you're used to. Right now, Edmonton has been warm this summer, but it's a different warmth. It's a different heat. So it is obviously Tampa as well. It's going to be different. but it's the plane journey as well. We always have a connection flight, and I know people, clubs hate coming up to us because it's so far for them. So we have to do that travel every week, every away game, which is it is an advantage for us, obviously. But boys are professional enough. They know they've seen ways to how to combat the jet lag and stuff, whether it's through wearing skins, whether it's through eating properly, making sure you're well hydrated, making sure you get a workout just before the night before the game, to get the stuff out of your legs and stuff, the bad stuff out of your legs. So we've done well this year. We could have done a lot better away from home, because I know we've picked up most of our points at home. We've got a lot of draws away, but we've also improved in that. If you think about it, if you think of from the last season, we've improved. So that's the important thing. There's improvement there. So it is a challenge, but we're doing our best, and we'll not complain about it, because we're professionals, and we can find ways to get around it.
Let me ask you this, Albert. Here on Red Card, we don't sugarcoat it. We tell it the way it is. We try to help out the listeners and viewers out there to understand everything and every aspect of the game we love so much. I've watched a ton of MLS since day one. I've watched a ton of North American Soccer League action as well. And I got to tell you, I'm being very blunt and honest about this. I think that Minnesota, your club in San Antonio right now, if they were to play a Chivas USA in MLS, maybe even a Montreal Impact or a TFC, that I would not for 1 minute be surprised if an NASL club comes up with an upset and beats these squads. We saw your squad almost take out the Montreal Impact on a controversial call, let's be honest, way back a few months ago in the Canadian Championship. You've been around the game a long time, Albert. Do you believe the gap is closing?
I do believe so, and I say that very confidently, because we played against Montreal Impact, and right enough we were 2-1 up. I remember at home we won 2-1, and we went there and we did not play well at all. But we should have went through. We didn't play well at all at the Saputo Stadium. We know we didn't play well, but we still should have went through. It was an unbelievable call. I still can't get my head around it to this day, but it happened, and that's the end of it. But we should have actually been in the final against TFC, and you just never know what would have happened there, in a final. So I really do think the gap is closing, and you've got players like Ibarra and Ramirez playing for Minnesota. You've got players like players for FC Edmonton. Dahl Fordyce played up front for us. I know he's been out with injury and stuff, but the quality we have, Richie Jones is playing through United and stuff. Tomi Obi, Lance Lang. Them players they could do well in any MLS club, and I know that. I know even though the young players coming through our club, the likes of the Milan Roberts and Hanson Bokai, Hanson done very well against Montreal and stuff. They would do very well in any club that's coming through as a young player. No matter in the NASL, they would do well in the MLS, and I think it is definitely closing the gap. And I think you're right. I definitely think you're right, where we would do very well against the likes of the clubs at the TFC and stuff, and Montreal Impact and stuff. And I think we do very well. So you're correct in saying that, Anthony. So the quality's there definitely in the league, and you know what? There's an example last year. He came from Tampa. I've just lost his name, but he went to RSL, Real Salt Lake, and he's done remarkably well. The English fella, his name's left my mind, but he's done remarkably well, and he's getting assists and he's scoring for Real Salt Lake. So that just shows you that he played in our league, and he was good in our league, yes, of course, but he also has made that step to the MLS, and look what's happened. He's started in the MLS, so it just shows you what a lot of the other players could do.